You know, I bought thousands and thousands of fragrances over the years, but I did it for you. At least that's how I'm gonna justify it to myself anyway. At this point, I have a collection built up to where I've kind of realized, at least for me, what I believe to be just the best ones that you should sink your money into. Because let's be real here, you know, out of all of those bottles, are they all 100% worth actually spending your money on? No, of course not. I have a lot of fragrances that I really love and enjoy, but I've also overpaid for a lot of fragrances, and I've also just made out really well on a lot, meaning they were a good price and I bought them and they ended up being great purchases that you can actually get a lot of use out of. So that's kind of what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you the scents that are actually really worth diving into, trying, buying, whatever the case may be. As always, we have a nice variety, a nice mixture. Basically, we're looking at spring, summer, fall, winter, designer, niche, and a cheapie or two. So like I always say, no matter what your price range is, no matter what time of year you're shopping for, no matter what your taste is, you'll find at least a couple of things in this video that you're going to like. And as always, I'll put links down below in the video description. Make it easy if you want to do some shopping. You can pick these up at a discounted price. This first one, we're going to start off strong with one that's been a favorite of mine since I started, basically, or at least this DNA is, of course. It's Aqua di Gio Parfum, and I have to say it every time because I can hear the comments. This came out 2 years ago. Well, again, this is Aqua di Gio Profumo rebottled with a different name. It has C notes, patchouli, incense. Now, actual Aqua di Gio Parfum, they have tweaked the notes a little bit as well. I don't believe that they list off an incense. I think they put in an olebanum instead or something. They substituted a couple of notes, but for the sake of just keeping it as simple as possible, it still has that incense, patchouli, smoky, woody, kind of mysterious nighttime edge that Profumo has. Really, you almost can't tell them apart. I think I could, just because I've worn Profumo for so many years and I've gone through so much of it. When it gets to that point and you're that familiar with the scent, it's a lot easier to nitpick them. But I think for most people who, you know, just aren't really being that critical of it, you're not going to tell a difference, meaning there's no need to go down and hunt down bottles of Aqua di Gio Profumo when you can buy the Parfum for usually just a little bit over $100 on discounters these days. And it's as simple as having kind of a nighttime, masculine, mature version of Aqua di Gio Profumo. This is perfect for a wide variety of situations. I love it in summertime. Even though it is a bit smokier and a little bit more heavy, I still love to wear it in summer. Mostly summer evenings. You can also work this one into spring and fall and even winter. There are better options for winter and probably fall as well. But again, if you want something that you can purchase once and get a ton of usage out of and feel like you're actually getting your money's worth, I mean, you don't need to look any further than Aqua di Gio Parfum. And the way I've described this one for years is it smells like a summer night on the beach. You know, give this one a smell and just think of that setting, whatever that may be for you. If you're on a beachside restaurant, you're just on the beach by yourself or with your significant other under the stars, you know, just hanging out, whatever it may be, just think of that, you know, and then you realize, like, yeah, he's right, it does. It just has this nice kind of alluring smell to it with still a little bit of an aquatic nature, kind of a fresh nature that you would expect from Aqua di Gio. Everything about this is amazing, and to top it all off, we get great performance as well out of this pure Parfum. We're gonna jump from one Parfum to another, but instead of kind of more summer oriented, we're going into fall and winter, especially winter. It's Fahrenheit Le Parfum by Christian Dior. It's the last standing Dior Fahrenheit flanker. And again, I say flanker, obviously the original is still going strong. You can still buy that one all over the place, but in terms of flanker releases, the Parfum is the last one that you can still buy, at least easily. You know, every now and then maybe, you know, Fahrenheit Aqua Cologne will pop up or something, but other than that, you know, Fahrenheit 32, Absolute, and all those others, they've been gone for a long time. And of course, those were some of the best ones at the time. And between Fahrenheit Parfum and the original Fahrenheit, give me the Parfum all day long. I think this is better in a number of ways, mainly being it's just, you wouldn't think that vanilla, suede, kind of rum booziness would work with this violet leaf based scent, but it does. And the fact that it does makes this one really stand out. It smells wonderful. It's sweet, but also kind of powdery and dusty at the same time, a little bit boozy. very mature, refined, sophisticated smelling, high-end and expensive smelling, and it is a little bit pricey. This is a 75 ml bottle and usually over $100, maybe $115, $120 most of the time. When you work out the price per milliliter, that's slightly above average, but at the same time, it's a great performer. There's nothing really like this elsewhere, so you're not getting any sort of redundancy. Even compared to the original Fahrenheit, it's wildly different, much sweeter, much heavier, and ultimately, the number one thing for me, it is so much more interesting, so much more of an involved wearing experience compared to the original Fahrenheit. So that's why I would take this any day. And at the same time here, just being realistic, this probably isn't going to be around forever. I mean, it's easy to look at the past history of every other Fahrenheit flanker ever and realize that, yeah, this one probably at some point is going to go away, so I would grab one sooner rather than later. This next one is YSL Y. It's the Eau de Parfum Intense version. Basically has become my favorite. It really, if I had to rank them now in order, it would be this one first, the Eau de Parfum Intense. Probably Les Parfums 2025 in second place, honestly, which sounds crazy. And third place is going to be Y Eau de Parfum. I don't think Y Eau de Parfum will ever get kicked out of the top 3, but it definitely got kicked out of the #1 spot after the release of this Eau de Parfum Intense, simply because it backs off on that sweetness. There's a time and a place for Y Eau de Parfum for me and my collection. If there's a point where I want something that's just kind of borderline obnoxiously loud, like really strong projecting and just has that sweet apple, which gives it an edge in terms of head turning factor, then I'll go for something like that. And there's a time and a place. If you're going out in a crowded area or a bar or some sort of, a busy restaurant where you're competing with a lot of different smells, probably both good and bad smells, you want something that's strong enough to cut through. The Eau de Parfum would be great for that. I'm not doing that stuff very often, hardly at all. So I like something a little bit more mild, just a little bit less, extreme and in your face. And that's what I like about the Eau de Parfum Intense. Sounds counterintuitive. Eau de Parfum Intense, you would expect it to be, somehow stronger than the Eau de Parfum, but it's not. Basically focuses all on the sage and the geranium and the lavender, excluding that sweet apple note, still having that amber wood. I love it. I absolutely love how this one smells, and it's not going to show up very well on camera at all, actually, which kind of sucks, but my level's down to about here, which for people with, small collections, that's nothing, but when you have more than a few to choose from, usually I don't make it to that point. All right, let's go for that niche fragrance I was talking about. Only threw one in. I'm not trying to get too crazy expensive here with this video. If you're looking to pick up one fragrance from this particular brand, this would be it. If you're looking to pick up one niche fragrance and you want it to be the best boozy fragrance you can get, this would also be it. It's Kilian Straight to Heaven. This is, I'm not lying when I say I've never really smelled anything else like this, and it's also still crazy to me that this is a cologne because it's so authentic smelling. It has this kind of aged oak barrel fruity sweetness and smokiness that smells, again, realistic. It's one of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. And keep in mind, this is not like a cologne. That's when I think of cologne, I think of Dylan Blue or Sauvage or Y Eau de Parfum. It's fresh, it's clean, it smells common. This does not. This almost doesn't smell like something that you should be able to spray on yourself and wear, because it is that realistic and authentic smelling. This oak barrel, dried fruits, and a bunch of cedar wood. It smells so amazing and just so cool. That's the best way to describe it. This is not going to be for everybody, so that's something to keep in mind if you're coming from the fresh blue fragrance era and you're wanting to branch out but you don't know where to start. This is wildly different, and it's kind of expensive on discounters even still. I've seen it for, I don't know, just a touch under $200 for testers. I think it might still be in stock. I don't know. Maybe it was $175, $185 or something like that for testers. 50 ml bottle. Again, it's not cheap, it's niche, but also not the worst I've seen at all. So, blind buy might not be the best choice if you don't know what you like. But if you like boozy fragrances, then this is something that, of course, you would end up enjoying. It's got great performance. The quality is second to none. The wearing experience from absolute start to finish is perfection. This is amazing in every way, and man, this is, again, it's one of the best I've ever smelled. This next one is cheap. I mean, we're going from $200 down to $20. It is Rasasi Hawas. We're just going with the original. And at this point, you could go for whatever flanker you like the best. For me, it's still this one, number one, and two, probably Cobra, which happened really quick, but I love Louis Vuitton Imagination, and that Cobra is so strong. It's one of the strongest Hawas fragrances that I think I've tried, and there are quite a few that are great performing. The original's great, Fire is strong, Ice is strong as well. Most of them are strong, even the Paradise Garden clone, Tropical strong. They're, again, all great performing, they're all affordable, but Cobra, I wasn't expecting it to actually perform that well. Anyway, for me, the original Hawas still is my top one, my top pick. Have a few bottles of it at this point, and they've gone through a few different juice coloration changes. This one is kind of clear. I've seen some where they're bluish. I've seen some where they're kind of purple. I have all of them, all from trusted sources, so that doesn't make as much of a difference. They all smell the same, perform the same, so on and so forth. I just wanted to throw that out there to potentially clear up any confusion if you buy one and yours doesn't look like this. This bottle I've had for a long time. The bluish purple ones that I bought were newer. I bought those within the past like year. So again, random, but that's just something that has happened, I guess. It's all about the plum, the ambroxan, the bergamot, freshness, the watery notes or aquatic notes. Kind of has this saltiness too. I don't need to describe it anymore, so I'm not going to. 20 bucks, beast mode performing summer scent that I think every guy should have. Let's go for Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau. This is Le Parfum version. You could go for Paradise, you could go for Flower. I love them all, really. You know, I would pretty much say that you could almost probably skip out on the Eau de Toilette. Maybe not. The Eau de Toilette's fresher than this. Not quite as fresh as Paradise and definitely not as fresh as Flower. So depending on where you want to go with it. But I think in terms of getting one that's fresher, you should go for one of those ones. But anyway, Le Parfum is the most popular one, really, or at least it definitely was before the other flankers came out. But it has that pineapple, coconut, tonka bean, tropical smell. It's so sweet, and it gets people confused because when you think of a summer scent, you think of something obviously fresh, right? This is not really fresh, but it's tropical. It smells like a vacation, and so you have to be somewhat, I guess, careful on how you apply this one in the summer, at least if you're worried about that. You don't have to be, but if you don't want something that's going to be too cloying, it's kind of a simple equation of just don't spray as much as you usually would, and a couple sprays and it'll probably be calm enough to where it's not going to be crazy. If you hit yourself with 10 sprays and go out when it's 90 degrees, that's going to be kind of unbearable, probably for you yourself and maybe people around you. But I love this one. It's a great performer, usually around $100, and it's just one that I enjoy. Kind of starting to get to the end of the video with Allure Homme Sport Extreme. This is, of course, by Chanel. I believe this was actually the first Chanel that I ever purchased. Back when Notino was around, they were going out of business and discounting everything even more, which ironically is what killed them, because these Chanels that they were discounting put them out of business in the US, and so they just went at it and put everything on sale and got rid of everything and closed shop. So I bought this 150 ml, I bought the 150 of Allure Homme Sport, I bought a few Dior's like Dior Homme Cologne, Dior Homme Eau, and other random stuff. It was a long time ago, I can't remember, but I know for a fact I got my Chanels from there at a discounted price, which was pretty cool, and that's why I went for the big bottles. This one has tonka bean, mint, orange, sandalwood, and some musk, but basically it's all about that tonka orange, sandalwood, creamy powderiness with a little bit of a tiny fresh mint pop off the opening, but that part does start to dissipate relatively quickly. They've gone through a few changes as well, like for example, this is the Eau de Parfum version. I don't know if you can see it. It's going to be Eau de Parfum. That's what you're going to get if you buy it now, okay? But back before that, it was an Eau de Toilette Intense, I believe. So yeah, they've changed it up. I have both versions and multiples of each. And again, there's no need to even track them down. There's not a whole lot of a difference. It's just for me and my collection mindset, I like having all those different variations. There's no denying that this truly is alluring. And I think they did a wonderful job on the name. The entire line, Allure, It smells as though it is alluring, and especially this Sport Extreme, man, it is sexy smelling from start to finish. I love this stuff. Last up for this video, we have Prada L'Homme Intense. It's a beauty. It basically takes that original Prada L'Homme, which is popular, and they throw in some tonka bean and some leather. You're kind of just sweetening it up a little bit. The original Prada L'Homme is great for day-to-day work, you know, office wear, school, just general work. Even if it's not an office, just, you know, day-to-day stuff. Fresh, kind of floral, musky, a little bit powdery, not crazy. The Intense version is going to be better for fall and winter time. It has a little bit more substance to it to where it will actually work better when you have some cold air pushing back on it. Not everybody, you know, experiences that. If you live somewhere warm, which lucky, I'm jealous, but where we get when it gets cold, I mean, you can tell when you have that cold air just muffling your fragrance. And if it's not strong, and primarily if it's on the fresher end of things, it just doesn't work. You need something that has a bit more richness to it to push through. Something like this does. You're usually going to be around, I don't know, $80 to $85 for that one. Great performance out of it, better performing than the original Prada L'Homme, and just a nice little twist. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Again, I bought so many fragrances, but I did it for the sake of just finding some of the best ones so I can tell you about them. Links to all of these will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.